Hi, everyone, and welcome to Shine Spiritual YouTube channel. Today, I want to share a bit of a download that I had last night. I've been doing videos trying to catch up on, the spiritual downloads and visions that I've had so far, but I want to make sure that I'm sharing downloads and drops as they occur too. So last night, I had a very interesting, very quick drop. They always happen quick. They're always instantaneous sort of informational downloads that I get. But this one was super interesting. I had this song. Do you know Jan Arden's song, What If God Was One of Us? Just a slob like one of us. I won't keep singing, I'll spare you that. Just a stranger on a bus trying to make his way home. I had that sort of pop in first, to be honest with you. I find music speaks to me quite a lot, but I don't always think more into it. And honestly, I didn't this time. But then the information just kind of kept coming, and it was like trying to show me if we are all source, okay? If we are fractals of God, source, whatever you'd like to call it. I tend to steer away from the term God just because I know for some people who are not religious in nature, or who, have strong feelings when it comes to the church and things like that, God can kind of spark some of those feelings of but I've personally gotten more comfortable with using the term God lately, and I don't have the same associations and connotations with it as I once did. I don't think about the church when I think of God. I think of source. But I did use source for a really long time, and I use the term God and source interchangeably. So just know if you hear the term God and you're like a little bit like, ooh, I don't like that so much. I get it. I've been there. And it just takes time. It takes time for the programming to unwind and for the release of some of those like more negative connotations. So, and for those of you who are very comfortable with God and, understand, the sacredness of that term and I feel you as well, because I feel it when I use it as well now. I didn't always, though. And so I want to take a moment to acknowledge that everybody's coming from different places. Everybody uses different terms to explain our creator, our source creator, whether it's the creator, source, God, higher self, whatever you'd like to call it. I just want you to know I respect all of you. And, please feel free to use the terms that resonate most with you and interchangeably with the terms that I use. I have no strong feelings either way. We're all just trying to explain the same thing, I think. Okay, that was a little bit of a tangent. But basically, I heard that Jan Arden song in my mind, and I was like, if we are all really, in essence, source or creator or God, and we have fractaled our light down to create this physical reality that we're living in, to create Earth and humans and animals and this third dimensional density. And okay, so if sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So if we are God and we create everything in this reality included, our reality included, then God is one of us. Like, Jan Arden's song is totally accurate. What if God was one of us? Well, he's not just one of us. He's all of us. And it could be just a stranger on the bus. And we're going into a time now where everybody is going to have, if they so choose and if they are willing to do the work, everybody is going to have that interdimensional access to higher versions of themselves, including source. And so, I kind of, when I'm thinking about a future that I envision, like, yes, I envision new earth and free energy and peace on earth and everybody in joy and happiness and having beautiful unity consciousness and interconnectedness. But what if Source or God was like, I'm up here and I'm the, I'm maybe, I don't know, maybe God was feeling alone. And so he or it fractaled, or she for that matter, I'm sure it's all, I'll just say it, fractaled its energy to experience something outside of itself, to be able to experience more than just, self. More than I am. That was the whole purpose. Source started out as I am, split into two, which we think, dark and light. And then from there, things broadened all the way down to humans and blades of grass and all, everything that is. But if I were God, and if I were thinking like God, I would want to be able to meet myself. I would want to be able to see and meet myself. And I know that that's God's goal, is for all of us to be able to meet ourselves at that level. It's a long journey for Source to fractal its light down to this level of density, and for us to make it all the way back to where we came from. But if at this density we could all work to gain access to those higher levels, we will be able to see ourselves at that level. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I'm explaining it super well, and it's because it's really fresh. And sometimes when downloads happen, it can take me weeks and sometimes months to unpack the meaning of it and to have all the synapses of my brain connect all the dots. So bear with me, it's fresh and I'm still unpacking it, but would God not want to experience life in the physical and be able to meet himself or itself in the physical as well? If you were God and you fractaled yourself down and you finally got yourself into a physical form, but maybe you wanted to see yourself in physical form, wouldn't you want both those physical humans to be able to ascend to you so that you could look at you, so that you could be like, nice to meet you, God. I'm God too. And you would look at that person and be like, I'm looking at me. Like that to me, if it was me, and it is me, would be what I would want. Like if I was up there and I was the only source, and I was, on my own, but for my creations, I would want to go and meet myself at every level. And I understand that we can meet God internally, and then we are meeting our highest self. I understand that. But how cool would it be for two human beings to have reached source consciousness and meet each other in the flesh? Like what if at the time, and I'm not saying, I know Christ consciousness is, beautiful, but I think we can all agree it's not like the very high. I don't know if it's the very highest level of consciousness. I don't think so. Like it's not source consciousness, it's Christ consciousness. But let's just say, because Christ consciousness is pretty up there too, what if Jesus met another Jesus in his lifetime? And that, when we take masculine and feminine and we balance the two, we get creation. It's that trifecta. Things come in threes. It's because you need the dark, you need the light, and then the birth, the creation. You need, the divine mother, the divine father, and birth the divine son. It's, so what would happen if we had like a very conscious, oh my gosh. Like that was kind of the download I had. It's very, I don't know how to explain it. I'm very curious. Has anyone else had sort of a vision about this or thoughts about this, about God meeting or us being at source consciousness and meeting another person at source consciousness? Like would it be like God looking in the mirror? Would it be like God being like, hey, and recognizing himself in another or itself in another? To me, that is a very aspirational goal for us to get to as human beings. Like, if we're the ones that are allowing God's source to experience life in the physical realm, in this third dimension, wouldn't it be amazing to allow, I know he's experiencing this physical reality right along with us. So in a sense, every time we meet a person, it is God meeting God. But what if we were conscious of it at the time is, I think, my point I'm trying to make. What if we could consciously have God meet God? And know that it was God meeting itself? Like, do you think that's what Source is striving for? I don't know. It's just a question I have. And I realize I'm creating probably a whole lot more questions than answers, and that there's likely things that I'm not thinking of and connections I'm not making at the current state. But that is the download that I had last night, was like, what if God was one of us? What if he is just a stranger on a bus? What if he is just, looking to see himself in another consciously? That would be, I don't know, the ideal, I think. Two conscious physical humans who have reached source level consciousness meeting each other and seeing and recognizing and knowing. Like, that would be the ultimate gift to source, I would think. I don't know. To be able to have all the perks of being a human, smell, touch, taste, and sound, and the all-knowingness as well, the all-seeing, the all-knowing, wow, what a gift that would be. And is it possible? Time will tell, I guess. Time will tell. Anywho, that was a bit of a tangent, but I like I said, I want to share things while they're fresh, and it's very likely that I will talk about this more in future as I connect the dots. Have a great day, everyone.